Good afternoon, folks. We are live once again for what seems like a long time. Let me go ahead and get everything loaded up and good to go, and we will take a look at Satisfactory. Okay, this is the main loading screen. I am running through a experimental new chill playlist today. So you'll hear it in the background. Some similar, I think I've done this one before. But we'll put some nice mellow music on while we explore. This game itself does have good music. I've just heard it for a while, so I'm switching things up a bit. I see Red Dragon is here, also hitting me with the resub for 12 months. Thanks, Red Dragon. Much appreciated, man. Hey, it's your sub 1 year birthday. But yeah, thanks a lot for the support. It seems like it's been a while since I streamed because I had to move my schedule around a little bit. But this one I definitely wanted to do during the week. So we've talked a little bit about the release of 1.0 for Satisfactory, but we've never looked at it on stream before. And I'll tell you right now, this game is dangerous. Similar to how I experienced DSP when we did that one, I think this game might actually be more dangerous than DSP. And we're going to look at it today, and we'll do... I don't know if we're going to call this like a full playthrough, but we'll be looking at this one on and off stream for a bit. And I thought the best way to show everything off would be to start from the beginning to show you guys the intro and how it drops you into the world and kind of the basic mechanics. And we'll do a little bit of the first couple quests just to kind of get a flow for the game. And then we're going to switch to my main save. This one's a little bit different in kind of scope compared to something like DSP. And rather than start a completely new stream-only playthrough right now, I definitely want to keep working on the world that I started in, and there's a lot to do. I'm nowhere close to even maybe halfway through the major objectives and beating the game, so there'll be no shortage of content. But we'll do a quick run through of the early stuff to kind of explain the premise and the setup, and then we'll jump over to the main file so you folks can kind of see where everything goes. So let me get everything sort of set up here, and then we're going to go straight into a new game. You can see the opening cutscenes. Alright, when we start a new playthrough, it gives us the ability to select a starting biome. This game isn't quite like No Man's Sky or DSP where you're going to be planet hopping. We are in one persistent world, and it's a big world, which I'll kind of talk through once we get in there. But you could choose where in the world to start as far as the different biomes and the layouts. I think we'll start in the Rocky Desert. My original playthrough I started here, Grassfields, which is a good kind of starting location. All of the areas in this pretty large world are connected, so you can go to each of these spots. But they give you kind of a different starting area and whatnot. So I've never seen where the Rocky Desert starts. So this will actually be new for me just for the sake of introing everything on stream. And you can actually skip the basic tutorial stuff, but again, we'll walk through it so folks who are seeing Satisfactory for the first time can see how it starts you off in the beginning. So we're going to call this stream test. And we should be able to hear all of the in-game dialogue, but there'll be no music because of my settings. So let's take a look. Rocky Desert, no skipping onboarding, no advanced game settings. All right, let's take a look. This is also going to be a good stream test to see if my computer can run this game and a VTuber model at the same time. My fans kick up considerably when I play this game. It runs perfectly fine, but my computer sounds like a jet engine.
Separation from main transport complete. Group A delivered to Calistian region. All Pioneers functional. Initiating dispersion.
I wonder if I need to turn my general game audio up so we can hear.
Attention Pioneer. I am Ada, your personal instance of the artificial directory and assistant.
We can't hear any of the voice.
Welcome to the Fixit Incorporated Save the Day program. A Fixit Pioneer has 3 core assignments. Construct. All Pioneers must follow Fixit guidelines and instructions when constructing any building. Automate. Every Pioneer is responsible for setting up and managing efficient pipelines, outposts, and power infrastructure. Explore and exploit. Fixit selected planets are rich with resources suitable
you folks on
for
stream hear the game
direct use
audio?
or further investigation. Stay within your designated. And that is why the world
I think
is
it's because I have my
counting on
volume turned down on my
pioneers like
headphones.
you. Fixit. Short-term solutions to long-term problems.
Okay,
Initiating planetfall. Atmospheric entry in 3, 2, 1. Beginning aero assist. Drag within acceptable parameters. Descent phase begun. Decelerating. Deploying parachute. Deploying backup parachute. Skipping parachute. Landing phase begun. Activating retro propulsion. Touchdown. Planetfall complete. Drop pod integrity nominal. Omni-situational exploration suit nominal. Pioneer. Acceptable. Congratulations, you are the 3rd in your region to survive planetfall. Welcome to Massage 2, AB-B, in the binary system of Akicha.
Okay.
Loading objective-based introduction. Begin onboarding. First contact safety tool supplied due to presence of alien megafauna. Adhere to Fixit procedure and equip the Fixit Inc. Xeno Zapper before leaving the drop zone.
Our assistant throughout this is going to be Ada. She'll talk to us and give us objectives and insult us occasionally. This game's got an interesting sense of humor, and our robot overlord in this case has kind of got a cheeky personality too. All right, let me turn the BGM back on. So the general premise of this game, it's kind of similar to the DSP. We are deployed by an organization to essentially land on a planet and develop it for the sake of the organization. And we're dropped in immediately into the biome that we chose. And let me kind of look around again. Nope, I have not seen this area before at all. I don't even know if I've gotten close. I don't have my map yet. Okay. So the onboarding is basically your tutorial, and we'll run through a little bit of that and kind of set up how everything is going to work. And we'll do that for a bit, then we'll switch over to the main save file. So this is kind of the arc that it takes you through when you start a brand new playthrough, unless you choose to skip all this. So first it said equip a weapon, because there are hostile life forms here. If we hit tab, opens up our inventory. This is our person.
Next objective, dismantle the drop pod. Fix-It Incorporated is cost-effective and efficient. We do not waste. The drug pod will be recycled to construct the first stage of the habitat and utility base, often referred to as the hub.
Okay. The weapon that they had us equip is a Xeno Zapper. This is basically like a short-range cattle prod. This thing will electrocute hostile attacking things at an extremely close range, and until we develop some better weaponry, this will be our means of defending ourselves against stuff that wants to eat us.
Potential edible collected. Interrupting previous message for higher priority message. Next objective. Use the resource scanner to find and collect additional iron to be able to build the hub. If you cannot find iron, be assured scans of the planet have revealed sufficient iron sources.
Alright. So we're out in the world and we have the ability to look around. The game doesn't really force you to choose an area to start building your main base. And one thing I did before my first playthrough is I kind of wandered around a little bit. So we'll use the scanner and we'll look at kind of the layout of the area. This game has really nice visuals. Everything's very detailed. I could see it looks like this is not running at a smooth 60 on the broadcast. On my screen, it looks okay, but the broadcast looks like it's running a little bit lower frame rate. I wonder. If you look at the video settings. Oh, maybe that's why it's set at ultra. I'll set everything to high for now and see if it makes it a little bit smoother. Also, maybe it'll make my computer not kick up as much. Okay, we'll lose a little bit of definition on some of the graphics and environments, but that already looks a little bit smoother. We'll keep it right there for now. I honestly can't tell much of a visual difference at all, so we'll do that. So our surrounding biome is kind of like a tropical desert-ish area. We've got water, shallow water, a lot of kind of palm tree type things, and some high ground as well. If we hold down V, it pulls up our scan menu. Like Ada told us, we want to find some iron ore, which is the first type of resource we're going to be using to do pretty much everything to start. And it'll kind of inform where we're going to start creating our base. Let's see, 516 meters, 483, 706. Okay. Nothing this way, so I guess we're going to go over this way to find some deposits and try and settle close to that for now. Wonder when I'll get access to the map. I need to upgrade a little bit. I'm curious to where I'm starting. I could tell you where my position is on the main map for my original save once I can actually see it, but for now I don't have access to the map. This is WASD controls. You can hit shift to toggle sprint mode. Spacebar jumps, C crouches. You can slide when you're running with C. Let's pick up some of the leaves. Unlike Minecraft, we can't knock trees down, not yet. But we can gather leaves, which will be important for burnable fuel. And these things, bacon agaric, are a type of consumable for food.
Potential edible collected. Reminder that look and smell alone do not provide sufficient data to determine exact risk of consumption. Just because it looks like you can eat it does not mean it won't eat you. Store this potential resource for later use.
These big, kind of tall, unusual creatures are native life forms along with these little flower bird things. These big guys are not aggressive. They won't attack you. They're in your way. You can kind of zap them and they'll leave. You could probably kill them too. I haven't tried, but they're not harmful. We'll know because we'll get an actual aggression marker if something tries to attack us, and there are a lot of hostile life forms. But this is a limestone deposit. This is not what we're looking for, but we can utilize this once we start mining for resources later. This is one of the other early starting materials. So if we hit E, we'll just start mining it manually and accumulating little bits of limestone. I saw in another video someone was playing through where one of the chatters said that the timing of the auto mining when you're stabbing stuff like that is We Will Rock You by Queen. So that's fun. By breaking the deposit on top, this will allow us to throw mining devices on top later. But we are looking for iron. Looks like the nearest one's over here. That area is very flat. We won't really see it in this playthrough, but proximity to water, I learned, is pretty important as well. Because you can use it as a potential way to generate power. Being close to a large body of water is pretty useful. I did not choose a good location that was close to water in my original playthrough. But looks like here's the iron deposit. It looks kind of similar. Oh, there's another one right there. Uh-oh. That is a hog.
Next objective. Use the build gun to
These
construct the
things
hub. Iron is a
will
base
try and
component
charge you and run you
necessary for
over,
all near future
and
progress,
they will kill
so
you if
ensure
you
build the
run out of
hub
life in the
close to
lower
iron
left.
sources. Fix it does not pay by
There isn't a huge
kilometer.
death penalty in this game, but you do drop all your stuff. And you get set back to a respawn point. Get out of here.
Samples of new alien species acquired. Notable features are blunt teeth, suggesting it is herbivorous, and a thickly plated skull and spine, suggesting it is proficient at inflicting and receiving blunt force trauma. Preserve the remains for later study.
Yep. As we run into hostile alien species and take them out, we'll be able to use their bits to research things down the road. There's a whole massive progression of tech that you research and develop as part of this game. And that leads to all sorts of useful things that you can build, and then gear, weaponry, all sorts of stuff. So it's pretty in-depth. This game I've had on my radar for a while, but I didn't realize how much there is to it. I was pleasantly surprised when I started playing it, and then time ceased to pass normally. It's one of those games, like I've explained for DSP or even like a No Man's Sky type game, where you say, I'm just going to play for an hour or so, complete an objective, and then it's 3 in the morning. Okay, so we need to build a hub, and this big flat area in close proximity to these mineral nodes isn't a bad place. What I've kind of learned through my main save is choosing a location that gives you a lot of area to build, but is also going to give you access to the resources will make it easier to centralize your base later. You can spread things apart, but then you're going to have to traffic materials to and from your main site. So we hit Q, this pulls up the build menu, and this is where we have access to all of our different buildings. As we unlock new ones, they'll show up here, and there's a real handy way to hotbar everything, which I'll show off once we get some more stuff. But the hub is our main centralized location. And we just need level enough ground to deploy this thing.
Hub foundation. foundation built. The hub terminal and crafting bench are only the humble beginnings of a successful Fix-It pioneer, but essential for the next steps of onboarding. Once finished, the hub will function as your base of operations. Next objective, complete Hub Upgrade 1.
Okay. So for pretty much the entirety of the game, your main site location, and I learned recently you can only deploy one of these hubs at any given moment. It becomes your home base. At the start, it's very bare bones. It's just basically infrastructure. But your objectives for unlocking tech, at least one of your sets of objectives, comes from here in your milestones. So we need to queue up Hub Upgrade 1, and we'll run through a few of these and get to some of the automation before we switch over. When we select the milestone, it becomes our kind of quest objective. We need 10 iron rods, and we drop off materials to unlock the different milestones here at the terminal, and then it gives us our next set of things to shoot for to unlock. Directly behind us is the crafting bench. This is going to be your home for a long time in the early game as you start accumulating and unlocking things. Kind of like the basic crafting bench. I'm going to compare this to Minecraft every once in a while because it's pretty common. This is where you can take a bunch of materials and actually craft things by hand. And to start, we need to process the ore we got into iron ingots. And we can do it by clicking the button or just hit spacebar. And it'll automatically start crafting all of the things we need and consuming the relevant material to spit out the thing. And you will spend a lot of time doing this in the beginning, but because it's inefficient to do all this yourself, just like we saw in games like DSP, we'll want to move to a point where we can automate things as soon as possible so that we can be out doing other things and not be stuck whacking away at the crafting bench, turning ore into ingots. So from that, we get the ability to craft iron plates. It's 3 ingots to 2 plates. Iron rods are our objective down here. We'll craft some of both because we need both to unlock some stuff. It's 1 plate or ingot to 1. So the different materials have different consumption levels, which is how you get the ratio systems in all these automation games. But we'll start by doing some of the plates. Let's do 10. And then we'll grab our 10 rods. And right now, we can't do anything else, so we go straight to the objective. We drop in the upgrades.
Hub
And
Upgrade 1,
it added to
storage
the
and
infrastructure
frame
a little
completed. Equipment like the portable miner can now be made in the workshop. Congratulations on completing your first milestone, the first of many providing access to new recipes and technologies for the Fix-It mission. Next objective, complete Hub Upgrade 2.
Alright, one of the new things with this upgraded layout is we have a storage chest for stuff. I'm going to throw the bacon in there. We'll keep some of these barrel nuts on hand. These are healing items. I will throw the hog remains in there too. Going back in here, upgrade 2. We need 20 iron rods, 10 plates. And it'll remind us in the upper right corner what our objectives are. Likewise, we can use the to-do list to tell us, here's what we're trying to actually do at the moment. So let's see, we have enough plates, but we don't have enough rods. We also unlocked the equipment workshop, which we'll put here. If you hold down control, you can snap to sort of like a grid or to a nearby building. If we keep it right up against it like this. Won't worry too much about how pretty the layout is. This is just a starter file. But the equipment workshop lets us actually build gear that we can use. And the first thing that we can grab are portable miners. We can throw these on hand. And these will allow us to not be stuck over a deposit whacking away with a little hand pick. So if I mouse wheel down to the portable mining device, drop them on a deposit like so. And there's a neat little deployment animation. And these things set themselves up and they start drilling away autonomously on their own and accumulating ore. Hey, Lava's here. We got a stretch reminder from Lava. How's it going, Lava? Hope you're having a decent Thursday. Is it judo day today? Alright, we can see here that these things accumulate ore at a much more rapid rate than if I was doing it by hand. So we'll let them do their thing for now. And we got the usual 5 hydrates from Red Dragon. I did a chocolate strawberry smoothie today. Okay, so yeah, Lava says yes, it was judo day. Well, hopefully you didn't get maimed too bad today. Alright, now that we're getting ore in larger stacks, we can work at crafting some more things for the objective and start looking at the next tier of automation. I'm running through the early game stuff in Satisfactory, Lava, to show off how the game runs through its tutorial a little bit. And then we're going to jump over to my main save and can see what the progress looks like. I think I've played like 50 hours of this game since it came out, at least. Okay. Actually, we need to grab the rest of these. Let's make 40. Oh, we'll go even 50. We'll drop those in there. Need to make some more of the plates since we used them for crafting the miners. And let's do 10 ingots. We're gonna need so many ingots. It's fine for now. Alright. We have walls.
Hub upgrade 2, power and
Really
shell, completed.
rough, bare bones
The
living
smelter
facility.
can turn raw ore such as copper and iron into ingots, and the biomass burner generates power when fueled. Fun fact, most of the native flora and fauna is compatible with Fix-It technology. Fueling the biomass burner with inappropriate materials will result in deductions or even cancellation of your yearly bonus. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 3.
Okay. What it is telling us here, this with the latest build out to the main base here, we now have access to our first power source. This is a biofuel or biomass burner. This thing consumes organic fuel to generate power. And we also gained access to power lines, but we can't do anything with power lines yet because we don't have access to copper. In order to put power lines and power poles, ultimately, we'll need some other resources. So let's take a look. Now we have access to scan for copper. Let's see if we can figure out where the nearest copper deposits are. $180 meters? Oh, right over here. Okay. There's also one even closer. No, that's iron. Okay. Looks like we gotta go a little ways under here. All right. We'll empty these guys out, craft some more, and we'll go looking for copper next. I'll throw you on there. And it said it was over here. Like I was mentioning a little bit earlier on when we first kind of touched down here, when I picked up Satisfactory, not knowing much about the game, other than what some people I know who've played it told me, I figured this game was going to be similar to something like Factorio and DSP, where it's very heavily focused on the building and automation and, you know, constructing your facilities, making them efficient, all that stuff. This game has a pretty surprising emphasis on exploring and checking out this big world that you're dropped into, because there's a lot of interesting things to see and discover out in the world that help you with your factory building and progressing your tech. So unlike a game like, for example, DSP, which we've played on the stream here, where you get on a planet and your whole point of objective is to start setting up all your facilities on the planet to gather its resources. In Satisfactory, you're doing that to continue to make progress, but I've spent entire evening sessions just wandering around the map, looking at random things, getting attacked by random things, and just discovering stuff, and then taking all the loot back to base. And that's pretty cool. I think that's a neat part of the overall model that keeps it from just being very one-dimensional. And here is our copper deposit. The ore is a little slightly darker color. Just like the other one, we have to break up the initial deposit to make room, and then we can drop our mining apparatus right on top. Put two of these guys here. And we did not have to travel terribly far. I guess I could have moved the base and built it maybe under this archway here to be closer, but I think it's fine. Again, for the sake of showing the tutorial stuff, I'm not going to worry too much about it. As we build out automation, we basically have to run the materials from this site to wherever we're processing them using things like conveyor belts. The potential for spaghetti bases, like we saw in DSP specifically, is definitely something that happens. You'll see it in my main file. I do not have a fully optimized factory that's built for maximum efficiency and everything. I'm not that good at the game yet, so expect to see spaghetti. Okay, let's start there. And we'll continue to grab leaves. We need to be able to fuel our main biomass burner in order to get our first power source. And leaves are the first stop. Scrub brush and leaves. Eventually work our way up to things like wood and better fuel later. Okay, likewise, we've now built out things that can be crafted with copper. And the raw ore is smelted down into ingots, just like iron. but we also have access to 2 basic products that can be crafted from copper ingots, wire, and cable. I think both of which we need to be able to start running power. Alright, we'll start with 50. Let's grab, let's say, 30. It is 1 ingot to 2. Yeah, looks like 2 wire. And 2 wire to 1 cable. Yeah, we're gonna need a lot more of that. It'd be nice if you could just set the table to craft stuff automatically when you're not standing over it. But I think you can't do that because they want you to start pushing for automation. Alright, we're going to actually pick this up. Our inventory is full. So to start, we will throw in some leaves in the burner. If we take a look at our craftables, we have power lines, but we don't have power poles. Okay, so I see how we're going to need to do it. So first off, we're going to set up a smelter. And we'll do it just right in close proximity since we won't be able to extend our power network right away. We'll be able to do it shortly. Smelter, let's put you... right here. Will give us kind of a clear angle to the iron deposit when we eventually get the mining standalone device. So in order to get the buildings started up, we need to have them powered. And doing this now causes the burner to start chewing through material. And this is our energy meter. Shows us our consumption and power, just like a regular power network we've seen in other games. But we're going to set this thing to smelt iron ingots for us. And this takes raw ore and turns it into the blocks we need. But we have no way of automating the mining yet, so we're just going to dump the stuff in there by hand and have this thing start smelting for us. Likewise, we're ultimately going to want to get one for copper too, but let's see, it's probably in... yeah, here we go. We need this milestone in order to get the power poles, which should be relatively easy. 20 copper or iron plates, 20 rods, 20 wire. And I know it's probably going to seem to you folks watching that the initial pace of this game is very slow and a little bit tedious. Once you start breaking past the initial tutorial stuff and get into the actual progression, I'm not kidding when I say this game is a serious time black hole once you really get going. I'd say within the first couple hours after you get through these initial unlocks and start seeing the automation, it's streamlined pretty well for progression, and I think it does that better than some of the other factory games that I've played, where you get to automation a little earlier, but the overall scope of the game seems pretty narrow until you get further on. This game does sort of give you a glimpse into where you're headed, and I think that's pretty cool. Alright, we need 20 plates, 20 rods. We got enough wire. further
Hub
upgraded the hub.
upgrade 3, interior furnishing
have
completed.
windows
The
and interior
constructor can
furnishing.
produce simple parts, and power poles allow for the expansion of the power grid. When you make the inevitable mistake, Fix-It's dismantling feature is designed to salvage all resources used during construction, in line with our zero waste policy. We understand that Fix-It pioneers are only human and thus prone to error. Next objective, complete hub upgrade 4.
Okay. In addition to the interior furnishings, which now look more like living quarters, we even have a toilet where we can dump stuff we want to get rid of. We won't do that for now. We have customization too. I didn't realize until I've been playing the game for a while, our character is canonically female based on the model. But we have the ability to change different parts of the model itself. It's pretty funny. It's very kind of Dead Space. Different models for our build gun itself. We can change colors. I don't have to worry too much about it matching. But the customization also affects the color of your building too, or it can. We'll leave it as the orange for now, but if you want everything to be a certain color, you can change that in there as well. Alright. Next upgrade 4. We'll cue that. We now have the ability to craft power poles, which can extend out our power network. So we're actually going to do that from here. We need concrete. That is a new material. I guess we'll put you back for now. Concrete is derived from the limestone that we walked by earlier, which we should be able to just craft straight away because I have some. This is not technically smelted, it's just crafted directly from the raw limestone. You get bags of concrete. But with that, we can now build power poles. So again, we'll disconnect you. Let's put one here. We won't keep it super fancy for now. But we're also going to need to run power poles towards the site where we have the copper. But for now, let's just do another smelter. We can take all the raw copper ore and dump it in there. I'm going to need more limestone. Which was just around the corner. Still don't have access to a map yet. Tell us. Yeah, there it is. Kind of out in the middle of this field. And the consumable things will go back over time. So if we need to pick up more of these nuts, we can get them as we walk through. Eventually we'll unlock stuff that we can craft that'll heal us better, but for now we can eat these for a couple bits of health. Alright, let's throw one of these on here. Grab some of the limestone. we're full up. We have to dump something. Alright, we'll get rid of some of these stray leaves for now. Yeah, it's fine. I think our next tier is where we unlock the automated mining devices. We'll take a look. In the meantime, we'll keep feeding this thing. And we need more wire. Let's put the smelter for copper over here. And I'll explain how the hot bar works. When down here at the bottom, you can see this is an emote. But our first hot bar, we'll do it in order here, has the power lines and power poles. If we mouse wheel up to number 2 on the radio wheel, it's nothing but blank boxes. So if we go into the build menu and we hit the number key for number 1, then it puts number 1 on our hotbar for that item. This is the constructor. We'll get to that in a sec. We'll put the smelter on number 2 down here. So now all we have to do is hit the number and we can craft the thing. But we're missing rods. Let's see, how's our burn rate doing here? Okay. Leaves do not offer a ton of fuel yield. Wood does a little bit better, doesn't burn quite as fast, but we'll make do for now. By holding Alt and doing mouse wheel, you can cycle through your different hotbars. I didn't learn that until maybe like 10 hours in. Okay, we want copper for you. We can run over to our copper site and empty out the 2 miners over here. Okay, let those 2 continue doing their thing. Now we need 75 plates, 20 cable, and 10 concrete. We're good on the concrete. Shouldn't take long to craft up the plates. And this is the last tier of the onboarding, I think. Yeah, this gives us conveyor belts. Okay. We'll see what this unlocks. And this does put us at about an hour's time, so this might be a good point to see what the game tells us after we unlock this next tier, and then we will look at jumping over to the main file. Would like to get the map though, just to see. I'm curious where I start. I think I'm north. Either north or I'm on one of the east or west coasts. Maybe the east coast.
Hub Upgrade 4, Landing Platform and Utilities, completed. Conveyor belts connect the output of one building to the input of another and transport resources. Due to past incidents, I have been asked to issue a clarification. Portable miners, obviously, do not have a connection for conveyor belts. There is nothing to suggest, visually or functionally, that they can be connected to portable miners. If this is something you struggle with, do not worry. Fixit has alternative uses for all their pioneers. Next objective, complete Hub Upgrade 5.
Oh, there is Upgrade 5. Okay, we'll see what that is. I don't think we don't have the mining devices yet, but we now have the ability to connect things via conveyor belts. But because we don't have the automated mining devices yet, which come from this tier, okay, I think this might be the end of the tutorial technically. So we need 75, 50, and 20. I think between what we've gathered so far, we probably have enough to do all this now. Oh, we should probably empty this out. Or fill it up. Have this one going, have this one going. Grab our ingots. And probably throw more leaves in the burner too. No, it's still up there. Okay, 50 coil or cable, 75 rods. Almost enough. We'll have to go back and grab more limestone for concrete too. Yep. 50. We'll grab our 75 rods while we're here and then sprint back over and grab more limestone for concrete. I missed some of the mobility upgrades that I have in my main save. We'll see what that looks like in a sec when we switch over to the main file. But I am used to being able to run jump a lot faster and farther. Starting back with the basic tech in the early game definitely feels different. That should be enough. We need 20 concrete. And what we'll do is we'll go craft up the last bits. See what the game tells us to do after tier 5.
Hub Upgrade 5, Power Expansion, completed. The miner, unlike portable miners, can be connected to conveyor belts and requires power to function. Caution: as you expand, the energy demand of your production may exceed
there
the
is tier
capacity
6.
of your
This is
power
the end
grid.
of the tutorial
The
technically.
onboarding program was established because Fixit pioneers often experience memory issues after planetfall. If you are experiencing nosebleeds, nausea, existentialism, or an itchy scalp, there is no need for concern. This should pass within 5 to 7 workdays. Next objective, complete Hub Upgrade 6.
Okay, so now we have the first of our major automation jumps forward here. This one requires 10 concrete, 1 portable miner, and 10 plates. What we'll do is we'll do kind of the initial setup and kind of show how the layout for the automation and conveyor belts works. And we won't bother with tier 6. That takes a little bit longer. Okay. So main miner looks like this. It's a pretty tall building overall. But it has output. And I tried to line this up, but it's not perfect. That's fine. Our belts, we can connect this to that. Belts don't consume power, I don't believe. They just go. But the mining devices do consume power. Also, we'll expand out the network a little bit. We also picked up another biofuel burner. We could actually just connect this directly. And now this thing will start to bore into the planet's surface. And this is what kind of ore? This is a pure ore node. There are impure, normal, and pure resource nodes, and they yield things at higher quantities, from the lowest being impure and the highest being pure. You can see here that this thing, because it's a pure type, it is yielding 120 per minute individual things of iron ore. If it was a normal, it'd be 60. If it was an impure, it'd be 30. So it doubles up, I believe. But now, we have automation for the first time. Our ore is being fed over here. Our smelter is automatically smelting things and spitting out ingots. We could actually let's do the constructor. This will be the last thing. Oh no, we have to get reinforced iron plates. One of the first material bottlenecks. I'm not gonna bother with that. That's gonna take a little bit. We need. Let's just craft it up. Early game, one of the big bottlenecks is getting those reinforced iron plates. We need regular plates plus screws, which are made from iron rods, to get the reinforced iron plates. Screws are another big resource bottleneck. They're used in a whole bunch of things, and they're really annoying to craft. But that's okay. We'll craft this up so I can put the constructor down. Takes 12 screws and 6 regular plates for one of the reinforced. But now we should be able to put down a constructor. Oh, I had the wrong one selected. Oh, we need cable. One major difference that I had to get my head around when I started playing this game, compared to DSP and Factorio 2, you don't have the buildings themselves and a lot of the objects as things in your inventory. You just need the materials to craft them and put them down, and then when you break them down, you get the parts back. So we don't have, for example, just constructors sitting in our inventory. We just need the materials to make them. Oh, to stagger it a little bit. And then we put them down, and if we dismantle it, we get all those parts back in our inventory, so there's no penalty. Okay, I think we actually need to set up another power pole here. And we need more cable. Or wire, rather. Base wire. So we want to set something up here that we can connect to multiple devices. One here. One here. Now we tell it we want to construct plates. And so logically this thing will just start processing away using the ingots that get spat out from the smelter. And now we have a source, an automated source of plates. This thing is constructing them 20 per minute. Let's go ahead and save. And so that is a real quick rundown of the start of the tutorial. The last thing is building the space elevator, but again, we're not going to worry too much about that. That takes a considerable more amount of time to finish. But our basic loop is figure out ways to automate and make our processes more efficient. So again, we're not sitting here just whacking away at the bench, crafting things one by one. Our objectives get laid out here. Once we get out of the tutorial, we start with phase 1 and it goes up to phase 4. I have cleared through phase 2 in my main save, and that's what we're going to look at right now. And as you go, it becomes more and more advanced and more stuff you need to do. So that said, we're going to load my main playthrough now. Space Beatopia. So this is the file that I've been working on since I started, and is in a considerably further part of the game. Does it tell me how many hours I have in this one? 45. So I played this game for almost 50 hours, and I've had it for like 2 weeks. Okay. I am in the process of linking up some materials for one of the advanced materials that we need, which is oil. But before we even get there, I have to head back and get more materials so I can keep building this conveyor belt to my secondary site. So we're going to hoof it all the way back. And I will talk a little bit about some of the things I have on this file. And if we take a look at the map, again, I don't know where I started in that test playthrough, but I'm going to assume it's maybe up here or maybe up here. I started down here in this playthrough. And so we're going to make our way back to the main site, and I can actually show you what my really rough starter factory looks like. And you can see quite a bit's been explored, and this is maybe 30% of the entire map from what I've seen. Lava says, hey, Raku, read Kinnikuman? I'm assuming you mean Kinnikuman, which is ultimate muscle, is what they call that one in the West. That's one with the wrestler dudes, right? Okay. Let's make our way back towards base. Our icons in the distance show the space elevator, which you can actually see. It's a little bit tougher to see because we're far away. And I think because I set the image quality to be low, the draw distance is further. But that's where we're headed. And right away, you might not be able to tell easily, but my foot speed and my jump height are much faster because I have this item called the Blade Runners on, which lets me run and jump faster. Also in the air, if I hit spacebar, I have a parachute which will let me descend, kind of Breath of the Wild style, from high distances without dying and cratering like a pancake. Gear-wise, I have an upgraded melee weapon. This is the Xeno Basher, which is basically like a big shock blade of sorts, bludgeoning instrument that's much more effective than the little cattle prod. We have a chainsaw, which is used to chop down trees to clear space and get more of the wood resource. Lava says, no, not Ultimate Muscle, aka Kinnikuman Nisei. It's the original Boruto. I mean the old school Kinnikuman manga and the true sequel, Kinnikuman 2011. I see. I didn't realize what the progression is in the franchise, but I've heard of it, so it's good. All right. Oh, this is my inventory now. I have a whole bunch of stuff here. I got to go drop off at the main base. Let's see. We also have a healing device. This is an inhaler. This will allow us to get full recovery on our HP bar if we take a lot of hits. This is the Nobelisk detonator. This will allow us to set explosive charges that can blow up hazards and or obstacles, which can unlock secrets, and is generally pretty cool, but I don't have a ton of them. Okay, the Kinnikuman series is wild. Like, the anime censored a death, but made it way more messed up. In the manga, a guy gets snapped in half by another guy. It does sound pretty brutal. Another thing that I had on hand, this is the rebar gun. This is the first ranged projectile weapon. It's fairly effective. It shoots rebar pieces. I have a scatter shot on here, which functions like a shotgun. The standard rebar is a bit like a further range projectile, more like a pistol shot, I guess. This thing's handy for fighting angry things in close range. There's some swarmer type enemies out here that I've been using a shotgun for. Let's see. I'll keep that on here. Other than that, gear-wise, that's the main difference. But let's make our way back to the base. And I need to grab steel beams. So there's a whole lot more materials here that I'm able to craft. And you'll be able to see. Well, it says, but in the anime, it's super freaky because the guy who gets snapped is instead turned into a freaking ramen. What a way to go. Becoming noodles. You can see in the upper right corner my objectives for phase 3. I can't even construct the stuff in the second and third slot there. I haven't unlocked it yet. There we go. As we get a little closer, we could see the space elevator, which is on site. We'll see that up close. It's creating this orbital platform thing as we complete the phases. And the material goes up into the space elevator and builds this giant frame out as we go, which is like our main objective. But we need to get some height in order to get to the platforms that'll take us back to the main base. I've been running power, which you see in these big sort of power tower things, to run power out to the oil base, which is way out in the distance over there. And this is bordering the coastline, so this is all water down here, which we can use to craft power if we need to. I get the feeling my next big thing is going to be oil-based power. So I think that's where we're headed. This is Foundation. It's like metal platforming that we can create. I've created all these walkways to get way above. Like, when I get further up, you'll be able to see, scope-wise, how big the game actually is. It's pretty nuts. It's very much like kind of open. It's not open world completely because there are borders, but it's the type of game where if you can see it, with the exception of some of the limitations of geography, if you can see a spot, a lot of times you can go to that spot and explore and build and find and discover stuff there. Lava says he gets turned into dough somehow, then rolled up and spun to make noodles. That's brutal, man. Oh, what we got? Oh boy, that's an alpha. That is a much bigger, angrier version of the hogs. And there's a fire spitter right there on the ridge. So let's take you out first. Ow. Get close range. Ow. Stop running around, you jackass. Alright, better heal. I don't want to die up here. Oh, managed to get a lucky shot off. Okay, you're done. You. We'll get a closer look at the enemies here after I take you out. They have kind of like a wedge-shaped head. And they're quadrupedal like the hogs, and these things spit dangerous projectiles in your face. And there are alpha versions of the spitters too, which are much more unpleasant. So I'm not at the maximum height I can get, but if you kind of see the vista here, looking all the way out, and the further we get in the draw distance, you get fog of war kind of obscuring here. But all this that you can see are spots we can go to. I hadn't even been over in this more mountainous region. I'm assuming we can get up on the cliffs. And I think one of the other biomes is one of the deserts. I don't think it's here. I don't know if you can get out here to this kind of Arizona-looking area. But all this stuff around here is explorable. And I'm zoomed all the way out on the map. There's coastlines that kind of border. There's some more down here I haven't seen yet. But basically there's an entire upper section of the map I haven't even seen. A ton of explorable stuff with its own biome, climates, and resources. But way out in the distance, you can see the main structure going to the orbital platform. Right there. That's the elevator. So my main factory base is out there where that's being built. And there's a couple other sections where I've built some power supply on body of water. But we're going to take a very quick route using the, what do they call these things? Quick tubes? Hyper tubes. These are like vacuum powered fast travel things that'll zip us to our location without having to walk. And we're gonna do that right now. You can kind of see the landscape. There's a big water power plant down there. It's not finished. There's another one over there. You can see a big series of cliffs and canyons. And boom, just like that, we're on the platform. This is the main factory site that I've been working on for 45 hours. These are advanced materials. I'm going to have to retool all this. This is just to get some of the important things that I need to unlock the different tiers and load into the space elevator. But if we go one floor down, this is the second tier of the factory, and this is all kind of like the level 1 things that we were going through the tutorial to create. So these are all smelters feeding in iron ore from different spots that I have belted all the way around the map. The way it's working is they're all feeding through here, and it's not fully optimized because there's overflow and some of the things stop when they hit capacity. I'll worry about optimizing all that stuff later on in the end game. But all of these tier 1 materials, as it were, are being created, moved into storage with these big crate things. Let me go on this other side here, which have these convenient screens that tell me what they're storing. But then we have lifts, these devices that are taking the materials and piping them up either to one floor above, it just clips through the ceiling, or they're piping them along the ceiling to different paths to go to different things that need them. And so all of these things are constructing different materials that we need for the various crafting. One thing I need to figure out is adding more steel production, which is one of the later tier items. These are steel beams. This is what I need in order to expand out the conveyor belts to the oil site, which is my main objective since we're here now. But we also have steel pipes. And I built out more of the copper stuff here. And so if we go a little bit out towards the other end of the factory, here's where I have a bunch of biomass burners. That was initially my power before water. But we could see, if you just look out, it's not pretty by any means, but there's belts feeding from all over the map, trafficking resources from their different spots where they're being mined, bringing them here. Eventually, there's a whole train transport system mechanic in Satisfactory, and I don't know if we'll be seeing it built in real time, but eventually I want to have trains trafficking large amounts of materials from all these different points, and you can build train stations and do all that in order to centralize logistics. But if we go further down to the ground floor, again, here's a bunch of the power plants, and they are probably going to get deleted soon because I was running through some of the organic fuel, which now looks like it's... Wait. What? It's full up, but why is it not feeding out? That's weird. Oh, maybe because I forgot to make sure it was connected when I upgraded this to one of the bigger crates instead of the single tier ones. Okay. Eventually, when this thing empties out, I'm going to delete this whole section of the floor. It's basically the organic fuel burners don't yield enough power, but we've been using it in the early game, so that's why it still looks like this. But we will leave it for now, at least until all this stuff is gone. But here's my hub. This is the main spot on the ground floor of the factory where I've been doing all my unlocking and occasional crafting. So let's offload the sphere. Oh, these are overclocked things. Those are useful too. What I'm building towards on my objective is the rifle, which is the next weapon I'd like, which will hopefully be more effective at taking out enemies than the rebar gun. Because the rebar gun's okay, but it doesn't fire terribly quick. But we need smokeless powder, which requires regular gunpowder and a whole bunch of things in order to craft. So that's why I'm working on that other site. Let's see, what else can we offload? Berries. Oh, wood. I don't need wood. Put that in here. For a good portion of the early game while we're relying on organic fuel, this is basically taking lumber we get from chopping things down with the chainsaw, and it's turning it... Yeah. Wait, what? That's not lumber. Maybe that's why I got kind of choked. This is a constructor that's processing the wood into a biofuel, but somehow I must have put the wrong material type in there. We want this thing feeding wood. Do this. There we go. You go in there. We'll offload some of these enemy materials. I'll kind of talk a little bit about the additional tech things that you use a lot of that stuff for before we get ready to hit the road and head back. This thing is the MAM, and it's Molecular Analysis Machine. Good thing it says it right there because I wouldn't have remembered. This is our advanced tech research device. As we proceed through the game, we get materials from different either enemies or different things we find in the environment, and we use it to unlock more tech. And there's a whole bunch of stuff on here. Like, this is the Dimensional Depot, which I haven't even started using yet, which is kind of like an easily accessible storage you can get at from anywhere. And just start playing around with that. We have Caterium, which I've not started mining from a central point, but this allows for advanced power transmission and a special type of ammo for the rifle, which I definitely want. Homing bullets. Mycelia is an organic compound we can find, which lets us create things like synthetic fabric. This is a type of explosive for the detonator. I'll have to research these. These are more healing type items, and a gas mask, which is another thing I need to get. There are these green kind of fart cloud looking rocks that create a toxin hazard. If we have a gas mask, then we can walk through all that without having to worry about it. Power slugs, which we haven't seen on the map yet, allow us to craft things that let us overclock or underclock our buildings to boost the productivity. That's also pretty nice. Quartz is a crystalline ore. We can use that to get... There's still an explosive here. Radio signal scanning. And radar technology. And sulfur is the tree that I'm working on now that has the rifle. It's right here. Maybe how you craft... Well, I guess I'll find out how you craft more ammo for that. And another thing, since I'm here, around the map at different points, usually hard to get to points, you'll find hard drives from wrecked technology. When you bring them here to the MAM and scan them, you learn alternate recipes for materials, which is very, very handy. I've gotten a few so far. That makes it a little bit easier to construct things in different parts. That'll be something else to keep an eye out for, which again, putting emphasis on exploration and checking out the map to find stuff like that. Okay, let's offload all of these materials. Don't think we need anything else. Let's see, what else do we need for level 3 belts? These are much faster than the ones you saw me creating in the test base. I think we're okay on everything else. I just want to be able to get everything to the next site. And so we're going to actually head back over there and continue working. I'll explain kind of the oil and fluid production stuff, which I just got to recently. So we'll save here real quick. I need to go fry some chicken. So I'll do that before we head over there. So we'll let everything sit here. I'm not in any danger of things attacking me here in my base. I wonder if there's anything I can craft. This will eat up some of my beams. I do need a lot of this stuff. I want to automate encased industrial beams next. Let's see. I will set it to craft. How fast is it? It's not bad. if I walk away for even a couple minutes, it'll eat through a lot of my beams. And the whole reason I came back here was to grab those for the conveyor belts. So let me let it sit here for a sec, and I'll be back in 1 minute. All right. Chicken has been fried. Actually, let me grab my water bottle. I'm almost done in my smoothie. There we go. All right. In fact, this is a good opportunity to see. Now I'm in a place where there's a lot going on. How the stream broadcast looks. It's definitely running a slightly lower frame rate. With Monster Hunter Wilds coming out relatively soon, I am going to be upgrading some core parts of my rig here. And hopefully it should make it so that when I play stuff on stream, I can do things like play a game that demands a lot of horsepower on top of running a model. At the very least, I'd like everything to be running at like 1440 at 60 FPS, and also be able to run my model at 60. Right now, I have my model running at 30, so I'm pretty sure my system would not like trying to run that at 62. But we'll see. I don't think it's a huge compromise in performance, but I would like it to look a little nicer. Okay, so we should have everything we need. Offloaded what we brought back. We're going to take the tubes back up, and then I'm going to actually fly or parachute all the way out to the oil base instead of walking. At least parachute to where the conveyor belt I was working on is sitting. Just like we did to get down here, we'll take the hyper tubes up. And I'll see if I can show off a bit more of the landscape from the opposite direction as we're going. You can see stuff out in this direction. And very pretty visuals. Ultimately, what I may do is build some more scaffolding using the foundations and have these tubes running completely from one base to another. But for now, because I don't have a linear path to do that quite yet, we just need to get close, and then we'll just fly the rest of the way. It's a bit slower, but building all these networks of tubes does get a little bit expensive. Okay. So we can kind of follow the path, and we'll just glide out there. Down there you can see some tech wreckage. That's the sites we want to keep an eye out for to do things like grab the hard drives. What is that? Oh, let's go out there. Here's where the conveyor belt piping sulfur started up here, and I'm running it all the way out to that base. We have it kind of just running down the cliffside, but there's another node here. You can tag that on the map using the markers, and then the belt I was working on goes all the way out there, so we're not that far. But I see a power slug. I don't know if there's a way to close the parachute. I meant to check that. Let me align myself so I don't just fly off the cliffside. We can fall from a decent height with the Blade Runners. Let's see. Quick switch, accelerate, brake. That's vehicles. Player movement. I don't see something here for canceling parachute. C. That makes sense. The crouch button will undeploy the parachute. Okay. These are the power slugs I was talking about that are used to overclock buildings. They kind of spawn randomly around the map, I think just at different intervals. The blue ones are worth one sort of charge thing you can craft. Yellow ones are worth 2, and rare purple ones can craft 3. Okay. Oh, there's a pure iron ore here. Oh. If we can find coal, we can make steel. Ooh. Okay. Well, we're going to put that on the map. I didn't have that marked before. Oh. That little enemy mouth icon means something's aggroed to my position. Spitters. Orange ones. Right. Was that acid? It doesn't look like fire. Blue or plasma, maybe. Alright. Come here, you stinkers. 1. I hope the rifle is capable of firing faster or reloading faster. And I definitely should have stocked up on more of that rebar. Oh well. We'll use the standard ammo type for now. I'm almost out of the shotgun. Okay. Let's hoof it all the way down. And work our way out to the oil base. Lava says, I'm heading out. Raku, bye-bye. Alright, Lava, thanks for tuning in and hanging out. Hope you have a good rest of your evening. We'll be back on Saturday with the next installment of the Elden Ring collab with Red Dragon. So if you want to see us suffer, as we always do, unless something happens with the bosses, feel free to tune in. We'll also be doing Portrait of Ruin on Sunday with the schedule change. I posted it up on the Discord. So yeah, take it easy, and I will catch you later. Here's some more wrecked technology. Got whatever was in there. keep forgetting to post on the YouTube channel
Let's go.
that clip of us owning that boss, Red Dragon. I'll do that for the next session. And we got a raid. Equestrian Alaskan is raiding. Hey, Equestrian, thanks for the raid. Real quick. Let me grab a shout out for you. What were you doing? Oh, security breach again. Nice. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot that you can do the shout outs to Red Dragon. Thanks. I will defer to you or Lava if he's here. But yeah, how did the FNAF security breach go? Question. I'm assuming it was not stressful at all and nothing bad happened. Uh-oh. Oh, those are hatchers. The main reason why I have the shotgun ammo is to deal with these. They're these hive-like things that spit out swarmers like this. They just run into you and do damage. But if we go up real close and pop them with the shotgun, then they're really easy to take out. But I'm just gonna avoid that. Okay, let us continue expanding the line of sulfur. We want to head towards the oil base in the distance there. Well, let me go across the water. I think it will. Yeah, this is pretty shallow. This is just wadeable water, but it's got deep bits that require swimming. Let's see if we can span the distance. Question says, good. Finding Gregory, and I still don't like the endoskeleton. I don't know what those things mean, because I'm really not up on my FNAF lore, but I will say everything I know about that game sounds incredibly stressful. From a gameplay perspective, I know the lore is pretty rich too. Alright, what are we going to build? Maybe we can go out here. We need, if we check our recipes here for gunpowder, black powder, I think it is, yep. Sulfur plus coal. So now we need to find a mining site that has coal. Which I believe there's one up to the north. Not close, east actually. Alright. We have to head through the mountains. Okay. Well, we're going to do some exploring, folks. So I actually want to start extending my power network out in that direction. Which I might be able to do it from here. Because what we're going to do is set up a mining device to get coal out in this direction. But we need to also connect these. I think I can do this. These will be kind of running through the water here. And it should be able to connect to this tower. Yeah. Each of these power towers has 4 small power pole connections, plus 3 big connections to other towers. So this should still allow us to run power from this one. That's what I'm gonna double check. I haven't been using these a ton. Yeah, okay, it's connected. So now we can run more of these further out. It'll allow us to span a bigger distance. should do it that way. Okay, now it'll connect them. There we go. We're heading into a spot on the map I've largely not explored a ton yet. Yeah, I can see by all of the obscure Fog of War stuff. So I don't know what's out here. Hopefully I don't run into a ton of the hatchers. But we want to be making a beeline for the ore site. And of course, right away, run into hatchers. Great. Okay. Just have to hit him hard and quickly. 2 shots. The little swarmers don't do a ton of damage, but they spawn quickly. They'll take your health down relatively fast if you're not careful. And let's see. 3 of these. Okay. Be mindful of my health. I should have stocked up on more. Oh boy, there's a whole bunch of these things in here. Great. I don't have the materials to craft more of the shotgun shots for my gun. So there's that. I'm not going to hoof it all the way back to base for that. We'll just have to make do. 73 shots of the standard rebar. If we get far enough away before the swarmers pop out, we can just bat them with the basher. Actually, let me throw some of these nuts on here. They don't heal a ton. Like, essentially half a pip, but they're plentiful. Oh, this is kind of like a mini cave. Alright. So we want to run power this way. Hopefully the ore is not tucked too far in. We're looking for coal deposit. And we're going to have to run belts all the way out of here too. Low visibility, low light. The question says, oh, I see the title is called Satisfactory. Yep, it's a pun. Interestingly enough, a game where you do a lot of automation and constructing and building facilities to be efficient is very satisfying. You know, name tracks that way. But yeah, I'm very impressed with this game, and I've only barely scratched the surface of stuff in it. I wonder if this is the lizard doggo cave I've heard so much about. Oh yeah. In fact, we have a new helmet. There's random stuff in a lot of these spots we can unlock. And that's an actual cosmetic upgrade for our player character. So that's cool. But now we're in this sort of... Wow, look at that. I think I've been here from the other side before. It's kind of like a bioluminescent algae all over, and these little orange things are the lizard doggos, which I think you can tame. I haven't tried yet. They're kind of like the little mascot for Satisfactory. And those are stingers. Oh, there's a lot of fun stuff in here. Those are fart flowers. I don't know what the actual name of them is, but they're these flora hazards which create the same toxic fart gas. So we're going to need to use our explosives to take them out to make it safe. But first, where is that coal? Oh. Oh, is it above? Well, it's on the other side. I wonder... Is it above? Here's one of the lizard doggos. Hey, buddy. Let's get on top of this whole area and see. Again, how we want to scale. We could scale from here. I should have enough materials. Let's get on top of all this stuff and see if the deposit is on the surface. We can use these stackable conveyor poles, which are used to stack up the conveyor belts, but they function like cheap ladders too. If we toggle on the zoop build type, we can just go literally zoop. And we can get high this way. This is how you see it in a bunch of spots around the map where have these really tall ladder towers that used to paraglide all over the place and just craft them vertically straight up like this. Now, if it's really that high, well, I'm going to have to figure out how to route power this high up, but let's at least secure the deposit first, figure out where it is, and then I'll figure out how I'm going to route power all the way down. Okay, let's go up a little higher, get on that plateau. Now it's a good shot. You can see the orbital platform from the space elevator. Okay, almost there. I'll get kind of a vantage point and see how high up I am. Pretty high. I have not been in this area at all. Down there is the oil base. Way out in the distance. That's where he came from. Okay. Where's that coal? There's one there. And there's one there. Okay, we're gonna head in that direction. Let's figure out where it is. Also keep our eyes peeled for other things of interest. Oh, limestone? Yep, limestone. Let's mark that on the map. We're right up against, I think this is a different biome. This red cliffside. I haven't been anywhere over here yet. Okay. We are above that cliffside where we were at before the cave. So where's it telling me to go now? Straight out in this direction. Okay. I guess one way to get over there would be to just foundation it. Get over here to these red cliffs and see. You can see another alpha just prowling about there. I think that's a yellow power slug. Alright. On my shotgun. Oh, and a couple spitters too. Great. I wonder if we can aggro you. Yep. See ya. Well, I'm not going to get the material for that. Oh, there's another slug down there. But he dead. Oh, that's an alpha spitter? No, it's a regular one, I think. Alphas are bigger. That's a red one. Oh, radiation. Uh-oh. Okay, I gotta be careful. That's a uranium deposit, I think. I don't have a hazmat suit or something that'll protect me from radiation. Okay, where's that coal deposit? This way. Yeah, okay, so I need to be careful of that. I'm gonna have to walk around. We'll eventually get to radioactive power at some point. Nuclear power. But until then, we should avoid glowing green rocks. Where's that coal? 61 meters dead ahead. Okay. So this is like a forested biome. I've never been here. A lot of trees. Kind of cool color palette. Where are you? I get the feeling it's down. Yep, there it is. And that looks like an alpha. Just strutting over here. Alright. Hey, Stinky. Yeah, stay right there. Seems like the different megafauna has their own coloring depending on their biome, which is kind of cool. They all have slightly different behavior. These are more or less fireballs. The blue ones spit what look like plasma. Oh, let's take a lot of shots, and I'm almost dead. Cannot wait to get that rifle. That's why we're here. Okay. So there's a coal node here. Now I gotta figure out a way to hook up power to be able to belt all this stuff out to my oil site. I don't even know what direction. I think it's... Yeah, it's directly to the west, out into the water. So we gotta send power lines all the way out here. I think this is where we set the big power tower. So we're not far away, but we're all the way in here. So we'll do this. We'll run the power first, and then we'll actually set up the mining apparatus to gather what we need. Yeah, it's out that way. Huh. Well, that's going to be annoying. But here's a yellow power slug. I'm thinking I'm going to just run foundation. I might have to go back and grab more materials to do it, but we can run conveyor belts on the platforms, which will just solve that problem. It's not going to look nice, but it'll serve its purpose. So go like this. Just going to create these floating bridges for now out into the ether, and then we'll make it pretty later in another 30 hours. Okay. Keep an eye on our bearing. We actually need to go that way. Let's do that then. This is going to be the path of both our power and our belt, which should allow us to go right up to wherever we need to go for the base, and then just drop the stuff directly, as long as I don't run into any major obstacles or now radiation's in play. That looks like more uranium. think that's what that is. Okay, we're gonna zigzag a little bit and just bypass all that. Now this puts us here near the coastline, so I should be able to get close and actually hook this up to my power structures, which are right below where we came in. I wonder. We took the ladder to get all the way up here, of course. But I wonder if I can go up the cliffside. I don't think I can extend it directly from here. But we might be able to go down here and kind of stair step it down the cliffs and then hook it up to that one rather than go through that interior of the cave. That might be the way to do it. I see something down there. Is that a hog? Looks like it, yeah. A regular one, or is it an alpha? Oh, it can spit. That's right. Some of these can spit projectiles. That's an alpha. Done. Okay, let's see. Still need to go down one tier further. Maybe I can build foundation out this way. And give this a spot to connect to. Yeah, that'll work. Okay. And that should have enough height to connect to this one down here. I'll just delete these other ones at some point if I don't forget. Well, let's see, we want this one. Connect you. There we go. And so now we should have power running all the way up to that spot where we found the coal in the red forest. So now I should just be able to hoof it back there. Set the mining device up. I didn't even see it. Was that a pure node? I guess we'll find out when we go back. And then run belts. We're going to have to come basically down the cliffside again to pipe everything over to the build site over there on the island. But that will get us coal plus sulfur, which gets us our gunpowder. And then the smokeless powder, or black powder is the base, and smokeless powder takes... Let's search our recipes quickly. Yeah, that plus heavy oil residue, which we use from refining crude oil. Okay. And it looked like there are more coal nodes in there too, so if I need to pipe more, I can set up a whole bunch of mining stuff there and do that. As we get a little bit higher up, closer to the draw distance to the orbital platform, you can see little parts moving as it's kind of trucking the different materials along different parts. Kind of a cool effect. I'm interested to see what it looks like when we're done. Okay, so we're up here. There's the radiation, so we need to path. Oh, we could follow. I don't need to go all the way up. I could follow this bridge down here. That makes more sense. Because we need to route power up here too. And it'll just sort of straddle this. Doesn't look super nice, but it's okay for now. That's connected. And we can run small power poles here. It'll be a little cheaper. These go a little bit shorter distance, but that's alright. We'll just put a couple more of them down. And this is going to be what runs power into the spot where we have the coal deposit. And then we'll set that up, then run belts all the way back and get that to the main base. And that should set us up to start building some of the materials we need. When we hit the maximum distance, that's why it's turning red there. Oh, there it is. Let's just connect to that. Okay. Here's our main site. Now we just need to set up a mining device here. This is a Mark II miner. And we'll angle it through the entryway. Connect its power. And now we can run the belts. And this is a normal node, so this should be running at 120 per minute. Yep. Okay. So now we want to pipe this all the way up and out, and then we'll follow the sky bridge all the way out. We'll keep it. Let's align it kind of in the middle and be as aesthetic as possible. And there's a way to build it so that it's essentially snapped straight. I wanted it to be right there in the middle. These games are really terrible if you're kind of an anal person when it comes to layouts. I think it's my artist brain. Let me make sure I don't yeet myself off the edge too. Yeah, there's a set distance that we can set the belts at. There. It's not going to be perfect, but we'll keep it aligned with the center pathing. 300 of the steel. Oh, actually, I'm running out of plates. I'm not gonna have enough. Oh no, it's only taking one. We might have enough. I have to go get more plates at some point. I guess we needed to. We can just come out here and just glide off the scaffolding directly to our main build site. At least it's not super difficult to get all the way out here. You know what? I'm just going to span across. It doesn't have to be exact. I'll save a little bit of material too. We'll just do that. No one will know but me. And sometimes that's worse. Oh, I don't want to do that. Okay, let's see. We might be able to step down over the cliff sides. Maybe. The clipping gets kind of finicky when it comes to the belts. You can't just drop them vertically straight off. That's what the lifts are for. But let's see. From here, if we take off the snap. Nope. You can actually drop it off. I wanted to, make a right angle. And we'll grab a level 3 conveyor lift. And we'll drop it down like that. And we have to do like a series of these going down the cliffside, which isn't gonna look super pretty, but that's okay. Should be able to go kind of like this. I wonder how far down. Oh, that's pretty far down. Uh-oh. That's trouble. That's a stinger. That's an alpha stinger, I think. They're these spider-like, almost zergling-looking creatures. And they can jump! If you don't like spiders. I don't mind spiders, but these things can run up on you really fast, too. They like to hang out in dark caves. And they don't make much noise until they're in your business. Are you stuck? Looks like you're stuck. You can get a good look at what these things look like. Oh, no, you're not stuck anymore. Yeah, those are bad news. Especially when they run up in groups of like 3. Let's keep running our belts down. I have to stair step them down a little bit more. Oh, I don't think I have. It's too steep of an angle to get down to that platform. Oh, that's annoying. We could run foundation, get them out a little bit further, and then just drop straight down. I think I'm going to do that. And I am out of steel beams. Lame. I guess we have to make a stop back at home base. I gotta secure more steel production. I'm going through so much trying to craft all these belts. Okay. Well, we're close. What we'll do is we can go climb up the top, fly off, and take the hyper tubes back. So it shouldn't be a long walk. I had mentioned it before, but this game has multiplayer too. I've never done multiplayer, but you can have a shared world with multiple people, and you can all be working towards similar or different goals. So this game seems like it'd be fun with multiplayer. Once I learn it better, you know, maybe I'll look at seeing if I can rope some friends of mine into playing it. Okay, let's head off in that direction. We'll grab more shotgun ammo while we're at home base too. What I could see in a multiplayer game being a point of contention is the idea of building efficiently versus building elegantly. I like things to look really nice, but early on it's difficult to do that as you're just getting through the basic objectives. But I could foresee myself getting into an argument with someone who prefers function over form. That's radiation. I don't even know what's angry at me. We're just gonna keep going. What was that? Some sort of alien, maybe a spitter. Okay, that's our target. The scaffolding there. We can take the hyper tubes. There is a jetpack. I don't know if I mentioned that earlier. There's a jetpack you can get. I have it, but it doesn't have perma-flight. It's got kind of like a charge system, and it requires, what is that? What is that? That's a resource I haven't seen yet. Well, let's check that out. I can mark it on the map. And that's an alpha. Oh, it's one of the spitters. Right. Ow. I should get more healing when I go back to base too. Ow. Uh-oh. Yeah, that's my last inhaler. Gotcha. Ugh. Nitrogen. Okay, I haven't even gotten to a tech tier that requires nitrogen yet. But that's cool. How should I mark nitrogen? I've been using these for like coal, sulfur. I guess I can put up one of these. There's a way to have custom markers. I need to investigate that some more. But for now, we'll mark that. Come back here later. Need to get at nitrogen. What's that? Oh, these are the fart rocks I was talking about. You can blow them up with the Nobelisk. Or if you have a gas mask, you can go through there and they won't kill you. Okay. How far are we from the scaffolding? Not very. Okay. Two things to do. Drop off some of the materials we gathered. Like all these berries and nuts and whatnot. Grab more steel beams for conveyor belts and grab more ammo for gun. Oh, interesting. My brother just sent me a text. It says McDonald's is finally selling the chicken Big Mac in the US. Huh. I definitely want to try that. I do like the Big Mac. Where's that from? Is that from Europe? I haven't eaten McDonald's in probably a year. Okay, Red Dragon. They have that where you're at over in the UK? I do like regular Big Macs. That's my favorite thing to get. I do like the Crispy McChickens. It's basically like a double-decker Crispy McChicken sandwich, which seems like something you would have seen in America first. But yeah, I'm gonna see my brother next week, so we'll have to try that. Stream schedule is gonna be a little limited next week because I'm traveling to the land of the Bay Area next week, but I'll be streaming the beginning of the week. Okay, yeah, so they do have it in the UK. I do like chicken, especially like crispy and fried chicken. But I don't live near McDonald's. I have to drive one city over to go and get it, so it's kind of like the degenerate tax. If I want to go full degen and get McDonald's, then I have to get in the car, drive, and actually deal with the human. The delivery apps don't deliver despite it being one city away, so it's kind of like, all right, you're gonna consume all that stuff, then you got to go there and actually confront someone over it. Okay, we'll grab this inhaler. That's a different one than one I was using. Requires different materials. But we'll use that for healing. We picked up more motors. We'll throw the slug stuff in there. I guess we can smelt down all of the alien bits. You craft these things called alien protein from the alien bits that drop when you kill them. And the alien protein can be used to turn into different things. Like these DNA capsules, which you can use to unlock parts of tech, or you can craft into healing. But you need the barrel nuts in order to do that. But we'll just craft it down so it takes up less space. You can see while I'm crafting stuff here in the menu, as I progress further in the game, the amount of materials that I can create go way up. We can make circuit boards too. I'm gonna need that for some stuff. But there's so many different things to craft and then work on automating. I think I've scrapped and rebuilt this main factory site that we're walking around in 3 times now as I've unlocked better tech. So I'll go and just tear everything out and then rebuild with more efficient facilities and whatnot. And that can be like several hours worth of work. Okay. Let us go and grab crystal stuff and craft our ammo before we grab other things. This thing is the Awesome Sink. It's an acronym. What does it stand for? They tell you when, Ada tells you when you unlock it. But basically this takes extra materials that you're not using and breaks them down on a point system. And after you cash in enough points, you get tickets or coupons. And then you take the tickets over to the Awesome Store or Awesome Shop. And this allows you to unlock additional things for your factory, which includes special types of connectors and attachments. Like these are wall power, which I haven't really explored yet. There are these pipeline special fittings and things for hyper tubes, like a wall attachment. That's kind of cool. There are storage and organization things like those display screens that I put up on the crates. There's light fixtures. There's special types of shaders and colorizers for the material, which is also really cool. Once I start building like cosmetic factories, I definitely want to get into buying these additional materials to customize what they look like and how the builds look. There's the foundations where you can get more blocks of the material to create, again, stylized things. The levels of aesthetics, if you look up on YouTube, people showing off their complete factory builds, it's crazy what you can create. Like, we're talking slick polished facilities with like smooth floors and walls, ceilings enclosed, and different floors, like an actual professional looking factory, all with different styled architecture. It's nuts, and that kind of thing really scratches the artist part of my brain. So as I proceed through the game and unlock tech, eventually I'll start getting into like actual design when I have all my materials and I do different sites and put in things like railways. It's, again, a lot of potential content. We have walls and window fixtures, additional structural things here. This is all things that can be unlocked using the awesome tickets. So eventually I'm going to have to set up my structure and facility so that extra materials that are just being dumped into storage and not being used are being overflowed in here and being burned so that I can buy the tickets to unlock all this really cool stuff. So we'll definitely get there at some point. You can use the tickets to buy materials. I imagine once all of the functional and cosmetic things are done and you're still getting tickets, you can just unlock critical parts and just get more of them. Okay, let's go grab some crystal ore. I'm running a production line up from a quartz deposit on the other side of the map, which is how I started unlocking all of that tech tree, on top of just storing it so that I can use it to craft things like the shotgun ammo, which is down here. Whee! When you're sprinting, you can slide under your belts. Because if I wanted to, I could... maybe I'll do that. I'm going to grab a bunch of extra stacks since this stuff is just being mined and dumped here infinitely until it fills. I'm going to go dump this stuff in the awesome sink and get some more points. The reason why you want to automate it so you don't have to go and run around all your storage crates, grab extra stuff, and then dump it in the sink since your inventory is finite. But we will go ahead and do that. And we are almost 3 hours. 2.5 hours already? Jeez. I told you this game is a time vacuum. Okay. We want to craft here at the equipment shop. Shotgun ammo. Rebar takes... Base rebar takes iron rods. I gotta automate this too at some point, so I don't have to keep sitting here crafting, but it's relatively fast, so it's okay for now. Maybe by the next time we sit down, I'll purpose this into an actual automated site so I can just run up and grab my ammo, throw it in my inventory, and go. But it takes 1 rod to 1 ammo pack of rebar, which is just 1 shot, essentially. And it takes 2 rebar and 3 crystalline ore to make shatter rebar, which is the shotgun ammo. So we'll farm up some stocks here because I'm gonna need it out there on the coastline. Those swarmers are everywhere and they're not pleasant. We'll run through this, we'll craft up some stacks of ammo, then we'll throw the rest in the sink, go grab more steel beams for the conveyor belts. I'm going to need rods, plates, beams. That should be enough of the critical things. And then we'll work at connecting everything up to the build site, and then we'll see where we are for time. I gotta figure out dinner soon. I could literally stream this game for probably 5 or 6 hours straight. And as much as that would be fun, I do not have enough time. It is a work night, after all. So we're gonna treat this playthrough on stream kind of like we did for No Man's Sky, which I'll probably come back to at some point too. We're not really done with that one either. But whenever I stream it, I'll be working on the game offline too, so the progress will be on stream and off stream. And it should be interesting to see as the factory develops and I get more tech. Ultimately, when we start getting into the aesthetic side of things, I think that'd be kind of fun to do on stream too. Let's see, 83 and 90. That's probably fine for ammo for now. And then throw all this in here. You can control click to dump everything of one stack into a destination, or you can shift click to do it one stack at a time. Okay, that's dropping in like 100 points at a time per stack. It's not bad. That should yield a handful of coupons. So now let's go grab all of the key things for the inventory, and we will take the tubes back to the site we were working on and work on extending the belts all the way up to the oil base. I guess I can grab more cable and more wire. And we do need more beams. There's maybe... Oh, okay. Crafted a few stacks. That's not bad. Still need to ramp up steel production. I go through so much of this creating belts. But another thing to keep in mind in Satisfactory, resources are infinite, so the ore deposits don't run out. They'll just keep accumulating resources forever. So it comes down to efficient use of things in the end, which is nice. I'm used to there being finite resources in games like Factorio or DSP. Instead, the constraint comes down to how efficiently you're building stuff. Okay, this is... Yeah, here's wire. That we go through a little bit less quickly. Yeah, I need to grab concrete too. Ultimately, I would like to have my factory laid out so that all of the materials that I need are in one big storage area. So it's like one site for production where all the stuff's being made, and then it's all piping over to one series of containers in one spot where I can just run down the line and say, okay, I need cable, it's here. I need rods, it's here. Right now it's just spread everywhere where I had room to build. So eventually I want to set up a depot. Everything must be in order in its rightful place. I don't know how people with legit OCD play games like this. It's got to be tough. Oh, I didn't even see that. It's taking up space in there. Okay, I think that is everything I need. Need to save. I'm not saving often enough. Okay, let's get back to the site, finish running the conveyor belt to the oil site, and then we will look at where we are stream-wise and wrap up from there. The whole point was to get resources to the oil site, and I did very little actual factory building. That is totally something that happens when you play a game like this. You start out with one objective and say, I'm going to work on that objective, and you either spend hours trying to do that one objective, or you get distracted and do something else, and then it's been 5 hours. But sometimes it be like that. Okay, now the red cliffs are over there. I believe it's somewhere around here where we were building down the face of the cliffside. So I need to fly over there. If we get up and over, we should be able to see where our power structures, we're routing everything. But let's keep an eye out. In fact, if I look at my map, this was where the coal deposit was. So we should be... Oh no, the coal deposit I think was up here. This is something else. Oh, this is the nitrogen I think we found down there. This one is the coal because everything is being piped out here. So we were right about here when he ran out of belts. So we just need to go northwest and slot in our shotgun ammo. And glide. I'm curious to see when I start unlocking higher tiers of fuel, like I'm assuming there's a nuclear fuel option, if it allows me to have more sustained flight with the jetpack. I've seen pictures or videos of people flying around the map, but I think it's the creative mode. We're in like basic survival now, but there's got to be a way to have more sustained flight. We'll figure that out. Oh, what's it? Spitter. Get out of here. We'll touch down there, and I think it was, well, we should be able to see towards the cliff sides wherever it is the power line was going. We got part of the way down before I ran out. Yeah, it's right there where the scaffolding is located. Okay, good, we're close. We just need to get everything out to the ground level and then run the cabling or conveyor belts to the main site, and then that will be what we need. Ah. Came in too low. All right, how high am I up? This is, yeah, there it is. I think I left off here. We went out and we ran out of steel to drop with the lifts. Because we're heading straight down and then we're going right out that way. I wonder. Nope, we're too high up. So we have that extended down. We have to go one more step lower. Because I think even that's still too high. Yeah. Almost. This gets us pretty much almost to ground level. Go. Now I can run the Mark III belts directly across the water. towards oil base. And we want to line this up nearby the sulfur. In fact, we'll get that crafted so I can explain why I spent the last hour doing this and running all over the map. And then we'll look at wrapping from there. There it is. So we'll just line everything up nice and neat-ish. And the whole point of doing this, we need, I think it's a assembler, which is like a constructor, but it takes 2 ingredients and combines them. The constructor can only do 1. So what we'll do is we'll hook everything up, and this should be what gets us our black powder. Unless I remember the recipe wrong, which is going to be very embarrassing. Nope, there it is. Sulfur and coal gets us black powder. And from there, let's put it into a big storage facility so I can grab for crafting. And then there's an oil type, which I need to run over from a different section of this base. But for now, we'll do storage, because I'll need to use that for a bunch of things. Okay. It's not perfect, but it's good enough. Alright, we've now automated black powder. And that's the first time I've done that in the entire playthrough. Now, the other oil site's over here. Yeah, okay. With 2 alphas, that's an alpha spitter and an alpha hatcher hive. Ugh. Let's see. If I can get the spitter to aggro away and take that out. I do not want to be near and trigger the hatcher. They're just like the little ones, but they spawn, I think, faster. And that's trouble if I get close. You, come here. Yeah, over here. This one's, color you blue? It's hard to tell with the lighting. Here. Oh, and they can charge up and shoot those really fast volleys. It's kind of like a dark, dark blue. Okay. Boy, do I hope that rifle is overall higher DPS. And faster reload. Seems like the barrel nuts grow more readily out in the tropical climate versus the berries tend to grow more in like the forested area, just from what I've seen. Okay. Now here, the crude oil site, and this is pure, so it's going to yield a lot. It's basically this kind of bubbling field here that you can see. And in order to extract it, we need an oil extractor, logically. And unlike the miners, oh, what's up to you over there? These require pipelines in order to move from point A to point B. And so the pipeline structures they function pretty much the same way. They have a max distance. they cannot go over deep water. Didn't think about that. Yeah, I think we're gonna need to run foundation maybe around. This is a water extractor. It siphons up water from a deep body. We can kind of pipe around that, and then I think I'm gonna have to just do foundation. Create kind of our artificial land bridge. Hey, what's up, buddy? I'm just gonna Jamiroquai your way over there, huh? Alright. Okay, so this... my layout here is very messy, I know, but that's okay for now. We need to pump all of the raw crude oil into a refiner, which should be on number 7. A refinery will allow us to package up into, or process it into something that we need for... layout again. It's not the most feng shui, but we need that residual oil byproduct. Actually, I could just run it from these. These are overflowed. Okay. Let's get this set up. It'll be the last thing we do, then we'll wrap. Okay, that's rubber. When the oil hits capacity and doesn't have any more places to go, it'll shut production down. So that's another thing I gotta think about. So over here is the other part of the oil base. I think all this stuff has had that same problem. It's hit fluid capacity. But for now, let's just grab some of these real quick. We'll do is we'll run. I'll keep that other connection over there for something else. You know, I'll double up production later. But let's see. We'll put the refiner. Oh, Red Dragon says, I think your chat is broken on screen. That's weird. I could see your chat's coming through in OBS. But you're right, on my actual browser screen, it's not updating. It might be lagging. I don't know if the connection is suffering a little. I could see your chats now, though. That's weird. Twitch has been buggy lately. I had that same problem with my account earlier, but I looked at it early enough in the day that I could figure out how to just restart my computer, and it was alright. But I gotta talk to some of my peers and see if anyone else is dealing with that problem, because it's really annoying. It's like every day. Every time I stream, I have issues either in OBS or in the browser updates for Twitch, and that's pretty lame. Wait, I put this thing in backwards? I think I put it in backwards. Yeah. Oops. Oh well. It's gonna look a little ugly. But we want this one. Where is it? We want this one that has a byproduct. Or is it this one? Now let's try that one. This one just requires oil. I'm still learning how fluid production works, so I've been messing around with it a little. But for the smokeless powder, this is crafted. We need this heavy oil residue, which should get produced from this. Yeah, so it's actually gonna pump out plastic and that's what we need to hook up to here. So we need two refineries. I guess we can put the plastic. Let's put a storage container. God, this place is a mess. I'm gonna have to fix all this later. It's okay. We'll run the plastic here. Put another refinery just right adjacent to this one, facing roughly the opposite direction. And then we're going to pipe this in here, and now the powder is going to get sent over here. I got to get into the blueprinting system too and start coming with some organized layouts to do all this, but for now, let's just get it operational. And we'll make it pretty later. I don't know if I mentioned this earlier, but the orange inputs, orange means input. So when you see me spinning stuff around because I put it in backwards, it's so that we have the sources feeding to the destination. All right. Huh, alright. Is this not feeding over here? Wait, what do I have spitting out of here? Oh, it's the wrong thing. That's why. I do need this pipeline. Alright. I just need to connect this one up. For some reason, my brain had me thinking it was crude oil being stored here, but no, that's fuel, different commodity. There we go. This is actually what we need. Now it's going. So now everything's feeding over here. Slowly. But when it reaches capacity, then it'll start creating smokeless powder. 2 per minute. Okay. So I'm not going to wait for that to finish, but it's being piped over here. Now we have done what we needed for the final upgrades for the rifle. That thing better be worth it. This is a lot of work. Okay. Well, it took almost 3 hours, but we were able to set up the production for what I needed for that one item, which will be useful for a couple other things as well. But it's going. So, let us get ready to wrap. Let me go see who's online we can raid. We went a little bit later than I wanted to, but that's all right. Hopefully this first look was interesting for folks who haven't seen Satisfactory. Or Dragon says 3 hours for one item. That is absolutely the way these games work, man. But once you have it set up, then you don't have to change it until you want to re-optimize production. I can see your chats on the main screen now, so maybe it's working again. Let's see who on the homie list is online. Wouldn't mind seeing if some of my VTuber peers that are playing this particular game could see who's online. Maybe spread some chill vibes elsewhere. I think a lot of people are playing this right now. Oh, okay. This person is playing Satisfactory, and it looks like doing a charity subathon. That's cool. You can go say hello to this person. See how the factory's going. I can't tell how far they are. I'm gonna assume a lot further than me, but there's another VTuber named That Blue. So what we'll do is we'll go over here. So let me go ahead and pause music. Let's close that out. We'll go ahead and go to outro, and we will call that a stream. We'll be looking at Satisfactory off and on. I don't know if it'll be every week, but next week it's going to be a couple streams, so I'll figure out what I'm going to do. But we'll be playing this one off and on and seeing how the progress works out going forward. So again, thanks for hanging out, folks. We will be back again on Saturday, like I mentioned earlier. Red Dragon and I are going to go back into Elden Ring DLC for more pain. And Portrait of Ruin Sunday. So until then, hope everyone has a good rest of your evening, and I will catch you later. Now let's go see how Dat Blue's doing in Satisfactory.